I'm Bonnie Hayes, and it's a wonderful fall afternoon in downtown Thomasville, Georgia. We're at the Bookshelf and Gallery, and there's a New York Times best-selling author, Joshilyn Jackson, here meeting people and signing her new book. Let's take a minute, go inside and meet her. This is Joshilyn Jackson, and she's a Georgia girl. We're here in Thomasville, Georgia, and Joshilyn, it's so great to have you here.
It is so nice to be here. I haven't been to Thomasville before. I love your downtown.
It's adorable, isn't it?
It really is, yes.
Well, and you've got a great spot here at the bookshelf, but what better place to do a book signing? You've got a new book. Tell us about it.
I do. It's called A Grown-Up Kind of Pretty, and it's a little bit of a mystery and a little bit of a love story, very Southern, takes place in Mississippi. Story of 3 generations of women on the Mississippi Delta who have a skeleton, not in their closet, but in their backyard, literally. And when they go to put in a pool, they dig up a lot more than they bargained for.
Well, all your characters in all your books, they're Southern gals, I guess we could say, very strong Southern women. Where do you base these characters?
Oh, I just make them up. They have nothing to do with my grandmothers or my mother or my crazy aunts. No, nothing at all. It's all completely made up. Right. That's kind of a lie. I grew up with a lot of really strong Southern women, and I think we are a very specific breed. And in a lot of ways, I think I'm worried we might be a dying breed. You know, everything's kind of getting homogenized with the internet and in some ways that's really good, but I guess I want to chronicle some things that I think are beautiful and lovely about our culture before they're gone.
Absolutely. You do such a great job. This book is out, but you've got several under your belt, and you have several awards, one of them being a Georgia Author of the Year award. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's always nice when you really do put your heart into this work, and it's nice to be recognized that way. Right now, this book, as a matter of fact, is one of 15 at Goodreads, that huge book club website. I think it has like 11 million members and 136 million visitors every year. They've chosen it as one of the best books of 2012, and it's a short list of only 15 books for best fiction, and there's voting going on right now. You know what?
So you want us to vote?
Absolutely.
Let me guess.
Okay. You should go and vote for it if you're a fan of my work and the book. I would love that. But
so we log on to the website to vote for your book.
Yes, you just go to Goodreads and go to their awards of the year, and it's up for best fiction.
And it's not the only award. I read that you have several stacked up, actually.
Well, yeah, the Southern Independent Booksellers, which we're in an independent bookstore, and I have to say, if it weren't for the indies, I wouldn't have a career. The hand sellers and I won their award one year, which is kind of a big deal. It was nice. And then most of the time, I don't know if I do know. I read my own audiobooks, and so a lot of the stuff that I've been recognized for is that.
Right. So you record, basically what you're saying is you record the audio. You read your books for the books on CD. You've gotten an award for that. But you have a stage background.
Yes, I do. Actually, I met my husband doing theater work at a tiny little black box theater in Florida. Mm-hmm. So both of my children are genetically poisoned toward theater on both sides. And I love acting, but I was more into playwriting, but I also did acting too, but writing has always kind of been where my heart is, and it's just been kind of nice with reading the audiobooks to have an opportunity to it feels like a little acting job in the middle of my regular life of just, writing, momming, writing, wifing, momming.
Well, how do you balance that? I know as a parent too, and trying to be a creative, it's a very difficult balance between when I work and when I spend family time. How do you make it work for you?
I hate to say this, the honest truth is insomnia. I don't sleep, and I used to complain about that, like it was terrible because I would have a 20-hour day most days because I just don't sleep. But the truth is, even when you're tired all the time, you can get so much done in a 20-hour day. I think most people would be happier if they could do a 20-hour day, but it's people need different amounts of sleep. But I don't know how people do it. For me, I have that 4 extra hours every day, and that's when I write. I write from between 4 in the morning until when it's time to take my kids to school and start my other life.
When you're sitting there and you begin a new book, let's talk about this. You just completed this one. It's out in print. Some people imagine the storyline first and build the characters around the story, and then some people have the characters and then go from there. Which is your process?
Oh, character always comes first for me, an alarming degree. The shortest time I've ever thought about a character before writing a book about them is 7 years. The longest time is 18 years. I invented one of the main characters in Between Georgia 18 years before I sat down to write that book. And for me, the plot has to be a surprise. I like things to happen in a book. I like there to be some kissing and some shooting, usually within a couple of pages of each other, and I like it to be a little twisty. And it has to surprise me too. It comes out of who these people are.
And these are complex people. Like in one of your books, you have a deaf artist, and
Yes.
you'll have two maybe warring families, and the women are brought together over something like a child. These are not simple stories of a housewife.
No, I spend a long time inventing the characters, and to me, like, once they gather into a cast, like, I may think of one person 10 years ago, and they don't really come together for me until I realize they're actually married to this guy I've been thinking about for 2 years now, and then once they're together, that's a really interesting mix of people, and I think, well, what, because the way you can't really write a book where people have a nice supper and walk the dog. That's a great life, but it's not a really good
Not
book.
a good read, right?
So once the cast is together, I gather them someplace and I sort of set one of them on fire, metaphorically. And the plot comes out of seeing what they do then in those situations and how they interact with each other and how they fail each other and rescue each other.
But they're so human. These aren't people that are so tough and gritty and they have no flaws. Your characters are very flawed, and I think that's why we love them and we can relate to them.
Yes, I'm not really a very black and white, good and evil kind of a person. I don't think we're like that. I mean, I try to be a good person, but Lord, I have my days. And I think most people do. And I think that change is really hard and sometimes not even possible, and sometimes it's just learning to let love fill those gaps of the things you can't change, and those are the kind of people I'm interested in writing about.
You've been writing for a while. Your first book was that Gods in Alabama. And when did you finish that one?
I think I finished Gods in like 2003 or so, maybe 10 years ago, but publishing's a long process. It sold, and about a year and a half after it sold, it came out. So I think it came out in 2005.
So being a creative person, you love to write. What would you tell somebody who comes up to you, and I'm sure it happens when you're in these independent bookshops, they're coming up to you saying, I'm a writer too, how do I get published? What do you tell them?
That where you want to put your heart is in the writing, not in the publishing, because publishing is a job. And you go about being published the way you would go after any other kind of competitive job you want. You build your resume by getting little publications here. You make contacts. You keep putting yourself out there. But you don't throw your heart at it.
And don't take the rejection personal.
No, like if you throw your heart at publishing, publishing is a business. It is a machine. It will grind your heart up and not even care. If you throw your heart at the writing will catch it. The writing will throw it back bigger. The writing will save you. And the way to get published is truthfully to write the best book that you can write, and write the book that only you can write, and then go about trying to get it published. There's books and websites. There's no magic formula. It's not a secret. It's just a job. People think it's really mysterious or spooky, but think about it for a second. What if you wanted to be an architect? Do you know right now immediately what you would have to do to become an architect?
No.
It seems really mysterious to you, but there's books and websites and courses and all kinds of things that can help you become a professional architect. Same with writing. Leave the business in the business field and put your heart into the story and the art of it.
Well, that's good advice, to write the best book that you can write. And also with the publishing, that's a business. I hear you might be looking at a new publishing house yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm with Harper Collins. I was with the Chat for 5 books, and they were wonderful to me. But my long-term editor left, and sometimes that's just
friendship.
Yeah, that's a hard transition to make, and to be at one publishing house for 5 books is amazing. It really says a lot about a Chat. They are great, but it just was time to sort of reinvent, and we're at HarperCollins now for the next 3 books.
Well, great. So you're going out, you're introducing people to your writing if they haven't read it already, and hitting a few independent bookstores.
Yes, it's like coming home. I love these places. Book people are the best people in the whole world.
I agree, absolutely. Well, I'm going to take a little break and let you meet everybody and sign some books. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Again, that's Joshilyn Jackson, and her new book is right here, A Grown Up Kind of Pretty. And, of course, she's down here at the Bookshelf and Gallery in downtown Thomasville. I'm Bonnie Hayes. See you soon.